From the Tennessee Valley Weather Channel, this is Wake Up Weather.
Good Wednesday morning to you. I'm Kelly Rawson here in the Tennessee Valley Weather Center. We are live at 6 a.m. and yes, of course, we have a lot to go over, including new details about the winter storm threat for this weekend here in the Tennessee Valley. We are continuing to gain confidence in an impactful winter storm, again, for us here in the Tennessee Valley and for much of the southeastern United States for that matter. So we are going to go over impacts, what we can expect, and what we have learned new overnight here in this weather update. Of course, we're going to get you through the next few days as well, but we are going to highlight, of course, the potential for this winter storm this weekend. And also, my 7-day graphic is not going to be my final graphic, so be sure to stay tuned to the end of this weather update. Hopefully, I will answer many of your questions that you may still have this morning. So let's go ahead and dive right on into what is brand new this morning. We do now have a winter storm watch for the entire viewing area. That is valid from 6 p.m. Friday until 6 p.m. on Sunday. Again, this is for a high impact winter storm threat that we are expecting, again, with the first precip starting as early as Friday evening into the overnight, with the last few snowflakes potentially falling by, or I should say, Sunday evening. So again, a high impact multi-day type of winter storm threat is on the board, which is why we do have a winter storm watch in effect again for all the viewing areas, or all the counties, I should say, that we cover in our viewing area. In terms of impacts right off the bat, we're talking about potential for power outages as well as travel impacts throughout the entire viewing area. So I'll get more specific on what we can expect here later on in this weather update. But again, I want to get you out the door this morning because we do have rain showers going to be moving through. Temperatures for the most part in the 20s and 30s, some of us above freezing this morning, especially into southern middle Tennessee. A lot of folks right around or below freezing in North Alabama and Northeast Mississippi. So it is a cold start, but temperatures will be well above freezing before any rainfall moves in as cloud cover continues to increase. This morning, we do have winds out of the south gusting 15 to 20 miles an hour. That's going to warm us up into the upper 40s to lower 50s this afternoon. So yes, it will be a warmer day. It will be a breezy day, but that's also paired with rain showers moving through. So grab the rain gear before you head out the door for today. Just going to be dealing with some showers on and off for the rest of today into the afternoon and into the evening. Our Arctic Air Sky Cam again looking all right right now. Clouds will start to move in later on this morning. Temperatures right around freezing here in Lawrenceburg, with the wind out of the south blowing about 11 miles an hour, hopping on down to Florence into Lauderdale County and overlooking some of Colbert County as well. Still seeing some cloud cover that will continue to thicken up and move in. Temperatures above freezing at this time on this sensor. Winds out of the southeast blowing about 4 miles an hour at this time. Again, those gusts up to 20 miles an hour throughout the rest of this morning and into the afternoon. So again, grab the rain gear before you head out the door for today. You may not need it in the near future, but you will need it later on this morning and into the afternoon. Temperatures warm up into those upper 40s to lower 50s by this afternoon. Rainfall moves in. Again, periodic showers, maybe some heavy rainfall at times. Otherwise, though, just some rain showers. That is what we will be dealing with for the rest of today into this evening. Rain showers still around, not as numerous, but you will still want the rain gear if you have any Wednesday evening plans. If you're heading out to dinner or if you're heading to any church services, you will still see some rain showers around. Temperatures starting to get down back into the 40s and 30s, and then overnight we will still see some cloud cover around to start off your Thursday, but Thursday is starting to trend a little bit drier. We may still see some lingering showers into parts of North Alabama during the morning and mid-morning hours, but otherwise we should be largely drying out for much of Thursday. The sunshine returning from northwest to southeast. Temperatures warming up by Thursday afternoon once again into those upper 40s to lower 50s. So not a bad day by the time we get to your Thursday afternoon, but then all focus will certainly be shifting towards the weekend. So another new bit of information this morning, we have adjusted this map overnight just a little bit. Now I want you to notice there is still the potential for some heavy snowfall in parts of southern middle Tennessee, but you'll notice what's new this morning is we have nudged this a little bit further north. So we could still be talking high snowfall totals in parts of Lewis County, in parts of Murray County, as well as parts of Marshall County in southern middle Tennessee. But the overall general thinking and the general model trend has been seeing some slightly warmer temperatures a little bit more north, which this kind of a trend is not completely uncommon. This is why, again, we have not been able to get specific with any sort of totals, but just know that the trend for the potential for ice and ice impacts a little bit more north than what we've communicated yesterday. Of course, this still has time to change and waffle from north to south as we expect it to over the next few days, but just know that the trend for the potential for ice accumulation or accretion, as well as ice impacts a little bit more north and overspread into a little bit more of our viewing area. So again, like we've been saying the last few days, whether you see snow, whether you see ice, we are going to see impacts out of this. But in terms of power outages, the more ice you see, the more widespread those power outages may be. So getting that off the bat, off the front end, let's go ahead and play through Futurecast to see what we can expect. So again, that trend for a little bit warmer air, and by warmer air, I don't mean rainfall. I just mean instead of heavy snowfall for much of the viewing area, we could be talking more ice for much of the viewing area. So I don't want that to get lost in translation. But for Friday evening, again, maybe a few snowflakes to start off, but I'm thinking the bulk of the moisture moves in overnight, mainly after midnight into Saturday morning. But again, we could still see a first few snowflakes by Friday evening. So by Friday evening around dinner time, you're certainly going to want to be where you plan to be for the next few days, because of course that winter storm watch does start at 6 p.m. on Friday. And then throughout the day on Saturday, we're talking heavy precip, whether it's snow, whether it's sleet, whether it's ice, that is going to create many problems on the roadways all throughout the viewing area. But like I said, we're seeing that pink a little bit further north here on the regional Futurecast model. So again, a trend that we're watching, a trend that we will continue to watch very closely, because again, that means different types of impacts. It doesn't necessarily mean impact versus no impact. It means different types of impacts, but impacts nonetheless throughout the entire viewing area expected. Now Sunday, we're still seeing that precip linger into much of Sunday. Could still be dealing with some heavy precip by Sunday morning. Now into the afternoon, that's when we could finish off with some snowflakes, and then by the evening, it looks like this system gets on out of here. Again, that's by Sunday evening as the winter storm watch is poised to expire by 6 p.m. Sunday evening. So again, this winter storm, we're gaining confidence each day and with each model run. So unfortunately, it looks like we are going to be impacted with winter weather, whether it is snow or ice. Again, we're starting to fine tune those details, and we're starting to watch the trends and kind of be able to decipher between the trends between those longer range models and now getting into the range of the shorter range, higher resolution models that will give us a little bit better idea of types of precip, as well as where exactly that type of precip may fall, as well as the amount of totals. Again, totals are not really going to matter. It's also going to be pretty hard to get totals exactly correct, especially with that transition line looking to be somewhere within our viewing area. But again, we're going to do our best. Just know impacts no matter whether you see snow, sleet, or ice out of this winter weather storm. So again, in terms of impacts, we are looking at snow, the potential for some heavy snow. Again, that potential starting to trend a little bit more north, but still not off the table, still time for things to change. But just know that that is the trend that we are following in terms of the potential for ice. That threat is starting to ramp up just a little bit. So we are trying to communicate that a little bit differently going forward into this morning, but we'll let you know if those trends start to change. In terms of travel, all throughout the Tennessee Valley viewing area, no matter where you are, travel will be impacted, especially on those secondary roads, those country roads, those rural roads. It's going to be a hard time to get anywhere on those roads, unfortunately. In terms of power outages, like I said, we are looking at the potential for power outages in those icy areas, in those areas that do see more ice than snow. Still potential for power outages if you just see snow. However, much more likely if you see more ice than snow, because that ice will accumulate or build up on those power lines, weighing them down and making it easy for those to become a problem. Temperatures will be below freezing for the weekend, but for the next few days, we're looking not too bad. Temperatures in the upper 40s to lower 50s, and then Friday, when we start to cool things off, and temperatures will be below freezing by the time we get to Friday evening, and they will stay below freezing for the next several days. And check out these overnight temperatures. We're talking temperatures in the teens, maybe even into the single digits, with wind chill values down potentially into the negatives. So dangerous cold setting up on the backside of this winter weather system. So not only do we have to deal with winter precip, we also have to deal with that bitter, dangerous type cold for the rest of the weekend and into the beginning of next week. We potentially get to right around or just above freezing by Tuesday. That's why, since that cold is going to linger, we could see those impacts last longer than the last snowflakes fall from the sky on Sunday afternoon to Sunday evening. So again, my 7-day forecast, and then I'll have an information graphic after this 7-day forecast. But again, for today, grab the rain gear. Temperatures in the upper 40s to lower 50s. Clouds continue to increase. Rain chances increase as the day goes on. And here is a look at that 7-day forecast fresh from the Tennessee Valley Weather Center this morning. Again, rain today, tonight, heading into Thursday, not looking impactful unless you have outdoor plans. Just grab the rain gear before you head out the door. For your Friday, looking at again, that wintry mix, some snow, some ice, some sleet starting to fall Friday evening. Doesn't look to be high precipitation rates. I think that comes later on after midnight and into Saturday, and honestly into at least the first part of Sunday as well. Again, winter storm watch in effect Friday 6 p.m. through Sunday 6 p.m. and Saturday and Sunday is when we will see the bulk of the precip fall. Of course, impacts expected those days, but impacts look to linger into at least the beginning of next week because temperatures stay cold, stay below freezing, those dangerous wind chill values as well into the negatives. So again, very cold on the backside of this, in addition to the entire winter storm that we will be dealing with again late Friday night through Sunday evening in terms of the precip falling from the sky. So let's go ahead and do an overview. Maybe you tuned in a few minutes into this live. So let's go ahead and talk about a general overview just to kind of sum things up and wrap things up this morning. The general timeline for this winter storm late Friday night through much of Sunday. Again, that winter storm watch from 6 p.m. Friday through 6 p.m. on Sunday. This is looking like it is going to be a high impact type threat. It's looked like a high impact type threat for the last few days. Again, confidence continues, unfortunately, to hold strong in that thinking. Travel issues are likely throughout the entire Tennessee Valley viewing area. Whether you see snow, whether you see sleet, whether you see ice, travel looks to be impacted. So again, by the time we get to Friday evening, around dinner time, maybe even just before dinner time, you are going to want to be where you plan to be for the next few days due to these travel issues that are expected, as well as power outages. Those look to be possible, especially if this continues to trend into more of an ice type threat. We could still see power outages with snow and sleet, but those power outages will be much more of a problem if we see more ice. So we will be watching that trend very, very closely. So like I said, we're looking at the potential for snow and ice, even the potential for both in some portions of our viewing area, because we will see that transition line somewhere in our viewing area. Again, we'll continue to watch to see where we think that will set up. Again, totals for either don't matter. It's going to be impactful either way. And then don't forget, it is going to be very cold after those final snowflakes fall from the sky on Sunday. So just because there is no wintry precip falling from the sky does not mean we are out of the woods. We're talking overnight single digit to negative wind chill values into the weekend, into the beginning of next week. So very cold. That is why we do expect those issues and those impacts to linger into at least the beginning of next week. So that's a look at your forecast for this morning. That is all of the new information that we have this morning. I will be back at 8 a.m. with another weather update. Taylor Plott will be live at noon with another weather update. And then, of course, Chief Meteorologist Fred Gossage will be in live at 5 with another update to the winter storm poised to hit the Tennessee Valley this weekend. Stay cold out or stay warm out there this morning, and make sure to grab the rain gear before you head out the door.
You're watching the Tennessee Valley Weather Channel.